Guten Tag und herzlich willkommen auf meinem YouTube-Kanal German Made Easy from Scratch. Ich heiße Louise und ich unterrichte seit 40 Jahren Deutsch. Mein Ziel für heute ist, das Alphabet durchzuführen. Es ist ja sehr, sehr wichtig, das Alphabet zu können. Okay, so ich mache das jetzt auf Englisch, damit ihr mich verstehen könnt. I want to do this rest, a few explanations of English so that you can understand me. Again, if you haven't met me before, my name is Louise and I've been teaching German for the last 40 years, or the years are creeping up now. My aim for today is to do the German alphabet because it's very important so that you can spell your name or understand other people's names if you're working in an office, etc. So these are also very important. So before we start, don't forget to put up the thumbs up, and to activate that bell and to subscribe. So remember, it doesn't cost you to subscribe at all, and it doesn't cost you anything to like. So if you're going to listen to me and learn the alphabet, please like and subscribe, because it really doesn't cost you anything at all. And it gives me a bit of fun to see how many people subscribe this week or how many people put a like up. That really is, to me, that's what keeps me going. So, los geht's, das Alphabet. Das deutsche Alphabet hat 26 Buchstaben. The German alphabet has 26 letters. Und noch 4 andere Laute and 4 other sounds, which I'll go into later on when we get the main ones learned. But you've heard them before, but now you're going to be learning them as a class, as a lesson. Das Alphabet. A, B, C, D. Now we'll say this slowly. A, B, B. Now this is a funny one. It's so totally different to English. It's a t sound. C. So it's A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Wiederholt? When I say wiederholt, I mean repeat that now. Or if I'm being very posh and saying to you, talking to a group of people who are unknown to me or I've been doing the polite form, I'd say wiederholen Sie bitte. But I'm going to keep on to wiederholt because I think we're getting to know one another now. So wiederholt. So A, B, C, D. Again, wiederholt. A, B, C, D. Wiederholt. A, B, C, D. Right, I've got those now. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Wiederholt. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Wiederholt. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Remember, there are no frills attached to this learning. It's just pure copying the sound. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Ha. 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 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I. 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 I'll go through them again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I. J. J. Now it's heading towards the English lovely big boat, a yacht, but it's a bit further back, so it's J. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. K. Bit like the Ford car, but there's no advertisement, I'm not advertising Ford. So K. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Now the next few are easy enough. L, M, N, O, P. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Q, R, S, T, U, V, V. Now, we met the VW before, can you remember, on our car, the Volkswagen. I always use that with my students to help them to remember the difference between V and V. So, again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Q, R, S, T, U, V, V. Now I'll come back to the R now in a minute. Again, A, wiederholt, you repeat after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, V. Next one. X, X, Y, Y, Z. Now, have you got it yet? I've got a bit of a song. It's a rap. Now, Deutsch lernen macht Spaß. Remember, learning German is fun, and it really is. I've enjoyed it all my days. So we're going to have a bit of fun now with a bit of a song, and it's a rap. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so jetzt haben wir ein paar Namen. Ich buchstabiere ein paar Namen. I'm going to spell out a few names. So I start with, ich fange ja mit einem einfachen Namen. I'm going to start with a very easy one. Okay, Nummer 1. Dieter. Dieter. Wie schreibt man das? D, I, E, T, E, R. Dieter. It'll be written up for you now. Did you get it right? I mustn't forget to mention my editor, Zoe, who's editing all of this here at this moment in time. Thank you, Zoe. Vielen Dank. So Zoe ist meine Cutterin und sie macht alles für mich. Okay, Zoe is my editor and she does all this editing for me. And a round of applause. Applaus für Zoe im Moment. Sie macht alles und es ist eine sehr schwierige Arbeit. It's a very difficult task, this editing. So, Dieter. Und dann haben wir noch einen Namen. Schwarz. Schwarz. S-C-H-W-A-R-Z. S-C-H-W-A-R-Z. Schwarz. Braun. B-R-A-U-N. 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 Braun. Wienert. Wienert. Ja, das ist ja gut. W-I-E-N-E-R-T. W-I-E-N-E-R-T. Wienert. Okay, Zoe? Hast du es? Okay, so jetzt. Dann haben wir Meier. Meier. M-A-Y-E-R. M-A-Y-E-R. Wir machen damit weiter. Now, I said I was going to come back to a few difficult ones before we were down to the final four. Okay, so what the difficult ones are. E. which is in English is I, which is really hard. E. And then A. A. So E and A cause an awful lot of grief with my students. E and A. And another two letters that cause a lot of grief are V and V. V and V. V, V. Now, there's your car for you. Your Volkswagen, the V and V. That really helps remember it. Now, with the E and the A, it's often difficult to find words with E and A in it on their own. But I think when you're pronouncing E, you think of bitte, please, bitte. We met that in a previous video. And then lesen, the verb to read, lesen, lesen. That might help you. So bitte and lesen might help you remember the sounds of E and A, and V, V, the car, for those sounds. Another one, for some unknown reason, that sometimes gives trouble, but not all the time, is ha and ge. Ha and ge. So watch out for those. Now, I did say I'd get back to the letter R. Now, depending on what part of Germany you're in, or Austria, or Switzerland, because they have certain degrees of different pronunciation of this R. Now, some places you have, it sounds like it E-R-R, so the R, and it's not really going down your throat at all. Now, that's in some places. And then in other places, I've noticed that they do go down a bit down the throat, R, as in Regen, coming a bit, Regen, like wohne in Regensburg or something like that. And it goes down a bit down the throat. But depending on what part of Germany, it's how strong the letter R is and where it comes in your mouth. So now that's those difficult ones looked at. So now we're going to go on to the next ones that are not in the 26. First one is the umlaut we have to take a look at. Now, what's that? An umlaut with these two little dots over your vowel. You've met them before, but I didn't really explain it that much because I knew this video was coming along the line. So you have these two little dots, right? And you place them over the Buchstabe, the letter A, O, and U. And then they change the sound because of this umlaut. So I'm going to put on the letter A, that the Buchstabe A, these two little dots over it. And that changes the sound from A to E. Now, we met that before. If you've seen my previous videos, you will have met it on Mädchen. Das Mädchen. Das Mädchen. Now, the reason for this is as language has developed, if, for example, you didn't have the A and umlaut on your keyboard, for instance, you could write A-E. It has developed over from that. It literally has a development in the language. And from A-E comes the A umlaut. So then you have E. So das Mädchen in previous times would have been M-A-E-D. That's the way it would have been done. M-A-E-D. C-H-E-N. M-A-E-D. C-H-E-N. That would have been Mädchen. But nowadays, years have passed, and now that A-E is now Mädchen. M-A umlaut. Now, there are occasions you'll see the M-A, and again, when you haven't got it on the keyboard, on your keyboard or anything like that, it's perfectly acceptable. So, das Mädchen was an example of the E. Ö is the next one. Now, the O with an umlaut on the top, that is the two little dots, that's an umlaut over the top, and that changes the O sound to Ö. Now, we've met that before in Österreich. Österreich, and that was what? Austria. Österreich. Where do we meet it anywhere else? We met it in Danke schön. Danke schön. Remember, thank you very much. Danke schön. There's our O umlaut sound. Now our next one, going from U to Ü. Now this Ü starts in my stomach and comes right up. So Ü, that's your sound with your U umlaut. And that then is seen. Where do we meet? We've met it in the number 5. And we've met it in the plural of das Buch, which is die Bücher. Die Bücher. So there you have examples of your umlaut. And you'll see them. They're very important because you'll see them on lots and lots of words and verbs as well. Verbs which are irregular in the present tense often have an umlaut where they wouldn't normally have them. So there you have, there's that. Okay, so now that leaves our last example, that's example number 4 of a letter which is a bit different, and that's the ligature S set. So S set, that's what it's called, or sometimes it's called a Scharfes S. So it's a ligature. And what does a ligature actually mean? It means that 2 letters are brought together. And this one is called an S set. And you see it in words that have sort of a long vowel. For example, die Straße. Die Straße, the street. Die Straße. And Fußball, Fußball, Fußball. Ich spiele gern Fußball. There are 2 examples. And in other words, if you want to say I know, ich weiß. Ich weiß. So there's all your alphabet. Now we'll go through once more. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, E, Ö, U, S, Z. Lastly, we want to be able to say, how do you spell that? Okay, the easiest way is wie schreibt man das? That literally means how do you write it? Wie schreibt man das? Wie schreibt man das? Or wie buchstabiert man das? Now buchstabieren is the verb to spell. Now we met the word der Buchstabe at the beginning, which means the letter. And then the verb from that noun is buchstabieren. So wie buchstabiert man? Wie buchstabiert man das? How do you spell that? How do you spell that? Wie schreibt man das? How do you write it? Wie buchstabiert man das? How do you spell it? Das wäre es für heute und viel Glück dabei wünsche ich Ihnen oder wünsche ich euch. Okay, depends on whether you are speaking to a group of people who I don't know very well. It's viel Glück wünsche ich Ihnen. And to a group of people I know very well, I begin to know you now, ich wünsche euch viel Glück. So, bis zum nächsten Mal beim German Made Easy from Scratch. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, it doesn't cost you anything. So, auf Wiedersehen, bis zum nächsten Mal.